Hello everyone, and happy Halloween 2021! It's been a long and tough year so far for many, myself included. For this year, we were hoping to have a kernel review ready to show you, a Halloween special featuring one of my favorites, the original Evil Dead. But alas, even though the script is coming along well, it wasn't going to be done in time for the day. However, this year also marks the 40th anniversary of the horror classic, so I'm determined now to get the kernel done before year's end, because Evil Dead.
Groovy.
Anyways, instead, I thought we'd take another look at a game from my big box PC collection, and that's Gabriel Knight 2, The Beast Within. Gabriel Knight is well known in PC retro gaming circles, especially among those who fancy the point-and-click adventures from Sierra Online as I do. As a longtime Sierra nerd, I'm ashamed to admit I didn't get around to finally playing any of these games until a few years ago when I played the first entry, Sins of the Fathers, which I don't have because a physical copy is super pricey. The sequel, on the other hand, I got for a good deal, not minding a few cosmetic scuffs, and it's in plenty good shape for me. I'm not obsessed with collecting mint, so long as it's not smooshed to oblivion. And I love this box art, guys. I actually remember seeing this on the shelf at Software Etc. way back in the day. Thought it was a vampire then, but nope, that's the third game. It's werewolves in this one.
Werewolf?
Yeah, it's a wolf.
Though I enjoyed the first one, a more traditional graphical adventure from Jane Jensen, who co-wrote King's Quest VI. It was a horror mystery thriller starring the ever-awesome Tim Curry as the main character, whom I love. I found I actually preferred this one more, for the most part, personally. Might be an unpopular opinion, I don't know. Also got sucked into the plot more, and from what I remember, less frustrated by the puzzles than in one. Drum puzzles. I did not like the drum puzzle. Also, it took me forever to get through a puzzle in the endgame part of this beast. Anyone who's played this through to the end will know what I'm talking about. They're very different, though, in that while they're both horror mysteries, The Beast Within is more akin to Sierra's other foray into horror, released shortly before this, Phantasmagoria, which I did an abandoned short Let's Play on the channel a long time ago. And that, like this one, used live-action characters following the big full-motion video craze of the CD-ROM boom that kicked off in the early 90s. Phantasmagoria and its own sequel were more about the horror to me, and less about the mystery-solving procedural vibes that this series kind of gives off. Now, a lot of FMV games are super cheesy, but I've always had a soft spot for them. Growing up during the time of Windows 95 and such probably has something to do with it. But I've noticed they're definitely divisive in retrospect with a lot of people, and I get it. But as far as FMV games go, I think Gabriel Knight 2 here might be the most well done of the bunch that I've played, at least among those which use the medium extensively. Without giving too much of the plot away, you play as the eponymous character, an author of detective thriller fiction, whose life since the events of the first game, in which he encounters a murderous voodoo cult, now imitates his art. This mystery takes him to his ancestral home in Germany, in which he's enlisted by the locals to investigate a series of attacks from, you guessed it, a large wolf.
There, wolf!
And the idea is established early on in the first game that he's descended from a long line of shadow hunters, or as they say in German, Schattenjägers, which are basically these secret defenders of mankind against evil supernatural forces, that sort of thing. Also, kind of like Phantasmagoria, The Beast Within's narrative is split into alternating chapters where you play as both Gabriel and his assistant, Grace.
Grace!
Whose own investigations are running concurrent to Gabriel's, and goes more into historical fiction territory, which I thought was really cool, and kind of incorporates stuff from the region's history into the plot. This two-character thing is also a lot like the more family-friendly King's Quest VII, and I'm pretty sure they use an updated version of that same engine. So far, sadly though, I've had a hell of a time getting the third entry, which features vampires, and a Da Vinci Code-esque sort of thing going on, from what I understand, to work, even on the GOG version. And I've even been fiddling around with patches and such, and, yeah, it doesn't really want to work for me. This one was part of the conversion to 3D rendered games during the final days of Sierra, and from what I've seen, visually at least, it hasn't aged nearly as well as its predecessors. But it does have more Tim Curry. It's not an uncommon problem, though, I found, due to technical guck with it being not as easily emulated on modern machines, etc., compared to the first two, which I do recommend to anyone interested in playing some now classic point-and-click supernatural mystery games. The versions on GOG for me have worked just fine, and are usually on there for a pretty good price, so you don't have to hunt down the CDs unless you're a geek for that sort of stuff like I am. And they're pre-set up to run on modern systems, which is nice. But anyways, until next time, hope you all have a happy Halloween, be safe in these crazy times. But try to have fun if you can. Try to do something spooky if you can. I know I will. After all, it's Halloween.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?